Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for March 7th. March 7th is the 66th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, or the 67th if it happens to be a leap year, with 299 days remaining until the end of the year. March 7th is also the birthday of my beautiful daughter, Misty. So many sweet memories. Happy birthday, honey. Right now, for words, we're looking at tosspot words. Tosspots are words coined by combining a verb and a noun like spitfire, shunpike, scofflaw. In order for a word to be a tosspot word, the noun has to be the object of the verb. So that shut-eye is a tosspot word, but shut-in is not. And today's word is do-all. Pretty self-explanatory. A do-all is a person who does all kinds of work in a job. Chief cook and bottle washer. The etymology of this word is from the Old English, a couple of words in Old English that mean do all. And the earliest documented use of this word is 1631. I would like to take a moment to remind you that links to my research are included in the show notes. Go ahead and click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, stay to the end for outtakes, and let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Remember that you can share this video with others, and you want to share so that all your friends know what you know. And with that, we're going to start in 1872. This is the birthday of Dutch-American painter Piet Mondrian, born March 7th, 1872. While he did some representative art early in his art career, he soon moved into more abstract depictions. But what he is perhaps best known for are his more graphic works, similar to this example. Mondrian lived to the age of 71. On March 7th, 1876, 29-year-old Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for his revolutionary new invention, the telephone. Wouldn't he be amazed if he could see what that has become? American poet Robert Frost's poem, Stopping by a Woods on a Snowy Evening, was published in the New Republic on March 7th, 1923. Robert Frost. I remember hearing about him when I was in grade school. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 and is the only poet to have received 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. On March 7, 1936, Hitler reoccupied the Rhineland, violating the Treaty of Versailles. Recipe for trouble in the works there, if you ask me. On March 7, 1965, a group of 700 people began a march. Their aim was to march from Selma, Alabama to the state capitol in Montgomery. This is not a short stroll. It's a 54-mile trek. In those days, there were a series of discriminatory requirements and practices in place in some southern states to interfere with the ability of African Americans to exercise their constitutional right to vote, even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 had ended legal segregation. These marchers wanted to express their desire to vote. Unfortunately, the forces that had put and kept those discriminatory requirements and practices in place disagreed and sent the Alabama State Police to stop the marchers. Things didn't go well. State troopers and county posse men attacked unarmed marchers with billy clubs and tear gas after they passed over the county line, and the event became known as Bloody Sunday. Several people died either that day or later as a result of their injuries. Not to be deterred, the marchers tried again on March 9th, when they encountered the same forces as before, but this time they turned back before violence erupted. Since the governor of Alabama wouldn't protect the marchers, President Johnson stepped in and ordered federal protection. And so it is that the third march started on March 21st. At that time, protected by 1,900 members of the Alabama National Guard under federal command, along with many FBI agents and federal marshals, the marchers made good time as they marched along U.S. Route 80, known in Alabama as the Jefferson Davis Highway. The number of marchers grew as they went along, and 25,000 marchers arrived in Montgomery on March 24th and at the Alabama State Capitol on March 25th in support of voting rights. The route is memorialized as the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights Trail and is designated as a U.S. National Historic Trail. I've been there, by the way, a few years ago when traveling with one of my granddaughters. I'm not sure she entirely comprehended the significance of where we were, but we talked about it while we were there. Subsequently, the Voting Rights Act became law on August 6, 1965. On March 6, 1986, divers from the USS Preserver located the crew cabin of the Challenger on the ocean floor. If you'll remember, the Challenger disaster was a heartbreaking, fatal incident that occurred when the Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart a little over a minute into its flight, killing all 7 crew members aboard. The Writers Guild of America called a strike on March 7, 1988. On March 7, 1999, American filmmaker Stanley Kubrick died in Herefordshire, England. He directed a lot of movies in his career, but when I hear the name Stanley Kubrick, the ones that pop to mind for me are 2001: A Space Odyssey and A Clockwork Orange. He was 70 at the time of his passing. And that's it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, links to my research are included in the show notes. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video so that your friends know what you know. While you're here, check out my other channel, 8 Susquehanna. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. My day in history. So many mistakes. Say that again. I'm gonna have to look that up right quick. We're not gonna go into all that. Okay. I don't know how all that's gonna go together, or if it's even gonna make it to the video. We'll just see. That's not gonna go. Probably cut all that out. That'll all be laying on the cutting room floor. So I'll just do that whole thing over. That might not make it into the video, we'll see. Changing it up.